everyone, just be here and welcome back to a new Simpsons video, and we're back with a new re-reviewing of my least favorite Simpson episodes. And yeah, this is also known to be one of the most not liked episodes of The Simpsons. I have seen lots of people discuss of how they don't like this episode. And yeah, pretty much, you know, the whole with what we've always known with Principal Skinner of him actually being not who he actually is, right? He's not the real Seymour Skinner, as we know in this episode. Until the end of this episode, when they changed it, but yeah. And I just really didn't like how this episode turned out as well. I do appreciate what they were going for in the concept of this, but just how it played out just didn't really work well for me. And yeah, and it's pretty early Simpsons as well. It's a pretty early Simpsons episode. Wasn't it 9? I think it was 9. Season 9, this episode is. I know it's still in the early seasons. But yeah, it starts with Principal Skinner just going through the school, looking at the clock and seeing if the time is right, and measuring the trash can. And yeah, apparently all of the different staff and Superintendent Chalmers is there getting ready to prepare for Skinner's 20th anniversary surprise of him being at the school. And yeah, Lisa's class is going to be doing something for Skinner's surprise. And yeah, Bart is making these war-like things with American flags, you know, to resemble of how Principal Skinner was in the war. And of course, Homer is literally eating dog food. Of course, he would do it. And yeah, Skinner's mom tells Skinner to get dressed because, and of course he's wondering why she's wearing what she's wearing. And yeah, like literally, why have that on the sign, right? Why have that on the sign? Tonight, surprise tribute to Seymour Skinner. And of course he's like, what does that sign say? Like, again, why would you have that on there? For if Skinner is gonna see it, right? And yeah, Skinner, they go in and they see everybody congratulating him. And yeah, Lisa and Ralph are saying all these different things about Skinner. And this band, or these kids singing this song with Skinner. And then this guy driving in the car sees the sign. And yeah, Bart and Milhouse comes with the cake. And of course, Chief Wiggum is ready to eat it. And eat some. And yeah, they blow out the candles. And yeah, he gets socked by the buzzer. You know, one of those buzzers. And yeah, this guy comes in and he says that he is the real Seymour Skinner. Yeah, the Skinner that we know, that he says that he's the Skinner that we know is an imposter. He is not Seymour Skinner. And yeah, they explain of how, with Skinner, though, like, yeah, pretty shocking, though, I will say, about Principal Skinner that we've been known to know is not actually Principal Skinner, or is not Seymour Skinner. And of course, everybody is shocked about his real name, which, yeah, Bart is, of course, laughing about. And, yeah, talks about how this came to be. And, yeah, I'm just going to keep calling him Skinner because, you know, he is still Skinner. And even though in this, of course, he says if his real name is not Skinner, I'm still calling him that. He used to be a, a very criminal-like guy that going against the laws and stuff. And yeah, he had a choice after running into the judge. He could go to jail or of going into or doing some other stuff as well. And yeah, ends up going into war, which he then sees his lieutenant or his colonel, which is the actual Seymour Skinner. And the real Seymour Skinner actually says that he would actually love to be principal. His dream is to be a principal, to move to Springfield and be principal at the elementary school. And yeah, even seeing this pocket watch as well that he had, and this explosion, which they believe that he was either captured or he died, which Skinner, as we come to know as, he tried to break the news to the real Skinner's mom, because again, they didn't find any evidence that he was alive or anything like that. So he had to try to break the news, which, of course, she was like, "Is that you, son?" And he had to say that, "Yes, it is me." Again, just not wanting to break the news to it. And yeah, I mean, he does. The real Skinner is like, "At least you took care of my mom, though." And living his life as well. I mean, yeah, he was living his commander's life, though. Skinner was. And yeah, of course, their mom is arguing like she has no son. And yeah, Skinner's had to sleep in his office. And yeah, of course, he can't really do anything on punishing Bart. And yeah, he has to put his actual name, that Apu says. And yeah, of course, Marge is saying that, or, you know, everybody just not really approve of Skinner, though. And with his, you know, since everybody knows his actual identity now. And yeah, he then makes the announcement that he is retiring and giving the actual job of being principal to the real Seymour Skinner. Which, yeah, he walks out and gives all the different things that he kept for Skinner. And, yeah, their mom has baked this fish for him to take. Which, he goes to Mrs. Krabappel and tells her that he is leaving Springfield. And goes to his storage and gets his leather jacket that he used to have and his bike. Which, yeah, Bart, Martin, and Milhouse notice Skinner. And, yeah, the real Skinner is appreciated for how with everybody. And yeah, of course, Lisa is saying of how, you know, of saying all these great things about who they thought it was Skinner, but of course was not. And people really shouldn't care of what he did, because they all came to know him as Skinner. And yeah, that is true. Which the kids get introduced more to the real Seymour Skinner. And yeah, Skinner wants Bart to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And yeah, Skinner back in Capital City. And yeah, he goes to this place and for a job and having to read these lines. And yeah, Skinner comes home and Agnes is wondering of why he is home so late. And yeah, she is angry as well, because, you know, what she knew as her actual son, you know, Skinner, would actually be is much more not disobedient than the real Seymour Skinner. And yeah, Marge sees her at the store. And yeah, Mrs. Krabappel also there, of saying of how the real Skinner sucks. And yeah, they all are driving to try to convince Skinner to come back. And the kids are coming along. Even Abe is coming along. And he tries to get all in with Skinner's mom. And yeah, of course Skinner is like, I'm not going back. Which Agnes just gets Skinner and saying of how you are my real son and been taking care of me, and I'm taking care of you, and you better get your butt in the car. And he's like, yes, Mother. And everybody else as well is like, yes, Mrs. Skinner. I just love how they just all walk out. And yes, he talks some sense into Skinner. But yeah, they all make it back. And of course saying of how even though he's not exactly who they thought he was, really shouldn't matter. Which of course Skinner, the real Skinner, is like, I've owned this school now. And yeah, Homer's got an idea, which involves tying the real Skinner onto this train, which is that leaves. Yeah. Again, we don't ever see this character again, the real Skinner, because they just tie him to a train while it leaves. And they get the judge to get Skinner to make him the real Seymour Skinner. Which, yeah, the real Seymour Skinner, he approves of the name of being the legit Seymour Skinner. And yeah, everything ends very well, I would say. Yes, it does end in a good way. But like I said, it definitely could have been made a bit better, I would say. I did like what they were doing with this, but again, just how it played out, really.